Welcome to the call today, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today and for just taking some time to talk to us. Maybe we can start by you, introducing yourself and tell us who you are.
Sure. Yeah, great to be here, David. Thanks so much for having me on this show. Michael Wagner, co-founder and CEO of Star Atlas. I've mentioned this a lot in previous interviews, I would say, but just background is in the traditional financial space. So I'm a CFA charter holder and previously worked in portfolio management and investment in securities analysis. I got introduced to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in 2013 through script coin mining with GPUs. This was kind of a hobbyist activity, but also one that I saw as having pretty considerable potential as a kind of a free cash flow revenue generating opportunity, just using this compute power to mine cryptocurrencies. Got a techie background and just a game playing background for many, many years. And so it was kind of natural adoption for me to start getting involved in crypto mining, immersed myself in the space for a couple of years, rode out that bear market that inevitably followed the 2013 bull cycle. And in 2016, launched my first company in the space, which is related to crypto and cannabis, providing decentralized financial solutions to the legal cannabis industry. That's called Totes. And fast forward a couple of years, a few of the team members that I had with me at Totes, Danny Floyd and Jacob Floyd, who are our Chief Product Officer and Chief Technology Officer, respectively, we all conceptualized the concept of Star Atlas in mid-2020. Been quite the journey since mid-2020, a lot of progress, a lot of development. I'm sure we'll jump into some more of that shortly here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thanks for that quick intro. So I think, Michael, at this point, there's quite a lot of conversation around the metaverse and what's happening in the blockchain space. Maybe mind breaking down to us how you describe the metaverse?
I think that's a very big concept that's going to be consistently kind of evolving going into the future. To me, the metaverse really is the future of web, particularly the decentralized web. I think the way that we're building it out as this virtual environment and digital world, fully supported by a self-sustaining economy, is going to be kind of a critical aspect of what is actually delivered in the metaverse in the future. But to me, it's everything from social interaction and human experience. It is, as I said, a self-sustaining digital economy. It is new paradigms around governance and kind of politics. I think all of these have potential to be experimented with within the metaverse and have implications for the way that people perceive these concepts in physical reality as well. But I also believe that the metaverse will be disruptive across things like e-commerce, where current shopping experiences in two-dimensional websites and making purchases. I think that will be radically transformed through the metaverse, where people will have the ability to interact more intimately with the objects they'd like to purchase and still have the physical item delivered to their house, but also with the potential benefit of having something like an in-game NFT to customize their avatar with. And I also think that applications like Facebook and other social media platforms are going to be challenged by the metaverse as well, because this becomes a far more interactive environment for people to socialize, right? And you can do it with your avatar in 3D. And so, I think the metaverse is really big.
And now just diving into what Star Atlas is doing, what you guys are doing in that space, maybe do you mind also breaking down to us where Star Atlas is at this point, any progress in terms of production, any web games that are coming up?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, just to clarify, Star Atlas is a multifaceted project, right? It's quite complex. It is a very ambitious vision. The initial deployment of the metaverse, if you will, is going to be encapsulated in a video game concept. And so Star Atlas is a space-themed, massively multiplayer online game centered around space exploration, territory control, and political domination. And players will own all of the assets that they're either piloting or controlling within the game universe as NFTs. But in terms of progress, I mean, we've had a really successful year across essentially every quantifiable metric that you can imagine. Not only in community growth, right? Having our social media channels, you know, seeing exponential period over period growth, you know, something like 115,000 people on Twitter. I see our Discord channel growing by 15 to 20,000 people per week right now. We're currently over 65,000 there. We still have 40,000 in Telegram. You know, a more internal metric would be our team growing from 4 people that were co-founders to, you know, about 120 people that have their hands and are influencing the development of Star Atlas in some way across all of our various product lines. We had a successful launch of our NFT marketplace back in April. That was an application that we developed. And in fact, I'm fairly confident we were the first NFT marketplace to build on Solana. Now our marketplace is exclusive to Star Atlas assets, but we were the first to deploy that in April. And through that experience, we launched the rebirth genesis of a MetaVerse digital art campaign. And so that was a 14-week campaign with 14 different multimedia meta posters that we launched. More recently, August was a very busy month for us. You know, we saw a complete integration of Serum into our marketplace. So things like buy sell functionality with order books were available, quantity selection, and you know, full interactive marketplace availability through our play.staratlas.com portal. We also launched our game economics and tokenomic white paper on August 17th. On August 24th, we launched our new immersive interactive website, as well as our cinematic teaser trailer. That was followed by a token generation event executed across FTX, Radium, and Apollo X. And that led us right into, at the close of the TGE, led us into the Galactic Asset offering. So over the last 2 weeks now, we have initiated ship sales, 9 of which have been executed so far through that same marketplace I was describing, which ultimately will evolve into the game, the mini game user interface. And so right now we're selling some of the assets that will be able to be used across the mini game experience. Now, within 4 to 6 weeks, we anticipate having, excuse me, let me actually step back. On Tuesday of next week, so this will be the 21st of September, we'll be rolling out the enrollment process for the mini game. So users will be able to see things like the user profile, leaderboards, faction selection, ultimately guild selection, unique method of securing and purchasing their name, their vanity name to be used in game. That's all kind of rolling out within the next week. That leads into ship missions, which will be the first module of our mini game experience. And to be clear here, we are concurrently building 2 products. One is a mini game that is delivered in browser. This will deliver more immediate access to our player base and allow people to start earning almost right away. At the same time, we're building out full production quality AAA style game in Unreal Engine. That work has already started. Also, we're anticipating some delivery of the initial module of that either in December of this year or sometime early in 2022. So following on from the ship missions though, in the mini game, we'll also be rolling out land development and land ownership. So people will be able to, you know, place their mining structures or farming structures and start participating in that gameplay loop. And then that's followed by orbital space station construction and crafting, where it's once again kind of almost a crafting loop where you're building out platforms and decks and expanding your space station, which opens up new features and access for both yourself and for other players. We're going to conclude the mini game with the delivery of the namesake of the game, which is Star Atlas, or the map of the universe. And this will be an interactive 3D map that you can view geographic coordinates of various assets around the universe at this stage. So that's all kind of coming towards the end of this year and also going into 2022 as well. Unreal Engine development will continue on for the next couple of years, but iterative feature releases will be rolled out over time, giving players access to greater and greater playability.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a massive long-term project that you're, obviously involved in. Yeah, like you said, the community is excited. The growth of the community has been impressive. We saw the teaser. Obviously, we were excited to see what's coming up. Maybe you can let us know, with a project of this magnitude, how do you keep interest, in the space? How do you keep interest within the community so that, when you're releasing this, when, you're dropping updates and features, everybody's just excited to see what's coming up?
I honestly think that that's going to be the easy part. Not to sound too arrogant, but I mean, a primary focus for us, if we think about kind of the balance of the delivery of the metaverse and this product, this creation that we're releasing, is that first and foremost, we want to ensure that the game experience itself is fun. That was a starting point for us. So it was less about the financial incentives and mechanics on the back end. It feels less like DeFi. It actually feels like entering into this immersive world and being able to create a new life for oneself, right? And so I think as we roll out features, these are all going to be fun. They're things that people would want to play regardless, but then we enhance that through the game balance and through the economic model that we've created for the universe. And so ensuring that people and players and users are rewarded financially for time spent within the Star Atlas metaverse is going to encourage more and more growth, not only user retention, but also growth across the player base. So I think that what we've already seen is just the beginning of the trend, and we'll continue to see exponential growth across the platform.
Great. I mean, what would you say is your favorite feature on Star Atlas?
Well, it's not yet it's not yet released. I mean, to me, what I think is very empowering is, again, this bigger concept around an alternative digital world that people can persist within, and our efforts to blur the lines between where physical reality stops and where digital reality starts. So to me, this is the most exciting. People will have opportunities that I believe will lead to the largest job market economy the world has ever seen. We essentially are also replacing means of production, people, human resources, and we're eliminating the geographic borders of employment that exists today. So through this digital world, people from anywhere in the world will be able to engage and get employed and earn a living and create, businesses for themselves or opportunities for themselves that they otherwise would never have access to. So to me, our potential user base is not only gamers, it's not crypto enthusiasts, it's actually the global population of people who are looking for ways to rise out of, situations of just say being born in a certain location. So to me, that's very powerful. And so one of the things we're most passionate about.
I know, obviously, the ecosystem is evolving and you guys are still building. But right now, currently, what would you say is getting the most attention? Which feature within the marketplace do you feel is getting attention, and how do you see this evolving over time?
Yeah, we are very strategic in our rollout of products. And I would say, even though there is excess demand out there, and to your point, people are very anxious to start playing. Everything that we've released has been well received. So again, taking that back to the NFT marketplace, to the Rebirth campaign, to the launch of game economics, to the TGE event, where we've tied back in value to like previous poster holders, NFT holders within the Star Atlas ecosystem. We believe in perpetual utility driven NFTs. And so we were able to add value. And so there was a lot of excitement, going into the TGE, because people had access to that they wouldn't have had they not purchased those posters. But the Galactic Asset offering was an amazing first week for us. This is the second week, and we'll have some new products that are coming online on Thursday, actually. So September 16th, a couple new products coming online. But the Galactic Asset offering is very popular right now, and we believe that will continue into the future. But certainly the ability to start participating in things like governance, which is high importance on a roadmap, and as well as being able to get into the game and start playing and start earning. Those are kind of top of mind for us. And when I say governance, this would be the activation of the Star Atlas DAO, where user stakeholder participation means that they can submit proposals proposals get voted on, and if those proposals get approved, then we start to implement those changes into our development cycle as well. And so, this could be something like activating Atlas as the currency of payment on play.staratlas.com. This is like a highly requested feature. So if the community activates that, we'll make that change, right? But governance is coming. We have that scoped out. We're working on our governance platform. The mini game is very close to initial delivery, where people can start to deploy their ships, deploy their fleets, participate in multiplayer gameplay, and take on missions and earn rewards.
I mean, yeah, you've touched on DAOs, and obviously, with the Star Atlas metaverse, how do you see? Again, maybe you can just touch a bit further on that. How do you see DAOs and guilds evolving within, the Star Atlas metaverse?
We see those as relatively synonymous. The DAO structure across Star Atlas is fairly sophisticated. We have an external DAO. This is managed through a separate entity that is an actual decentralized autonomous organization as it's registered. And the external DAO will have influence over things like general game development and design going into the future. People who are stakeholders in the Polis DAO or the Star Atlas DAO will have influence over development decision-making and design. So things like asset release schedules, feature releases, various gameplay modals that we release going into the future, as well as economic decision-making. So taxation rates across the game, inflation schedules or emission rates, reward rates for players. These are all decisions that the external DAO will have influence over. Within the game, we also have a 3-tiered DAO structure. This is for the political strategy component of the game. And so there's 3 factions that are all kind of in warring states. And each faction will have a faction level DAO. And then we'll have regional DAOs, which is a lower level, more local. And then finally, the idea is to provide guilds and clans with the ability to participate in clan DAOs, or decentralized autonomous corporations, as we call them. And this means that they'll be able to collectively and trustlessly manage guild treasuries, so financial resources that are earned across the entire guild, as well as providing direction to their user base, the clan's users and players, on where to dedicate their time to maximize productivity, or what activity they should engage in within Star Atlas. So we think of these as being very closely coordinated, and it's probably another one of the most exciting concepts that we're rolling out in Star Atlas.
Now, at this point, do you mind explaining also the idea of concept sales?
Yeah, I mean, these are ships that we're currently rolling out just immediately in advance of ship missions. So because of the structure that we have on the sale, where we're not just listing everything at once, we've timed it such that people would have an opportunity to review their desired assets and make a purchase of those. One of the things that we noticed in a lot of NFT drops is that it can be quite chaotic, and people are left scrambling and kind of left FOMOing into things just because they're trying to purchase something. And that's because you get this entire inventory of items that comes online at one time. And so we've structured our sale so that on any particular day when assets are going out to market, there's only one available at a time. And there's a countdown timer, so people will know when that becomes available on the market. And we're improving some things like data delivery, so that real-time data feeds will be available on the NFT marketplace, on the order book. Also, releasing and revealing the MSRP in advance, which is the maximum suggested retail price, or otherwise the price that we are selling it at the start. And just a few other kind of visual UI improvements across the platform. But nevertheless, we're selling these assets one at a time, give people an opportunity to review the information related to that asset, and then decide if they want to purchase before they actually commit. And this process, as I said, will continue not only through the end of this year, but really going on into perpetuity, into the future, for as long as we are creating new ship designs and ship assets. We currently have 120 ship designs created, and 40 of those will be in and around, about 1/3 of those will be going out over the remainder of this year. assets that people are buying today are going to be used in the mini game, and they'll be able to complete those missions and start earning rewards for completing those missions. And kind of the next assets that will come up for sale will be land assets, and that's going to be delivered more closely to when we release land development gameplay loop.
There are meta posters, right? Maybe you can also tell us a bit about that.
Rebirth was a really fun campaign. So this was launched in April. It was, as I said, our first product actually out to the market. It was delivered through the NFT marketplace that we created. The purpose there was we had multiple objectives. One was to start to create some awareness around what it was that we were building. And so through this 14-week campaign, we started revealing posters that were not only very visually attractive, all of the art was created in-house by our creative team, by our concept artists. It was coupled with augmented reality overlays for an immersive experience, as well as audio soundscapes through partnerships and collaborations with some mainstream musicians. So groups like Blondish and Bassjackers. We had Jason Silva, a well-known futurist, who produced a couple of voiceovers for us, and deadmau5 was on the final poster with us. So it was the first experience bringing people into the metaverse, creating awareness around the product, around the brand, and around the vision. And it was also a way to generate revenue for us. It was a very successful event, and this revenue obviously benefits everybody that's interested in Star Atlas, as we're able to utilize that now to continue to scale the team, grow the team, and expedite development across all products that we're releasing. But one of the other benefits to being a poster holder was that it was the first opportunity to get early access to game assets. And so we had a tier system, and individuals who collected, or groups who collected, all of the posters up to a particular tier were, they've already been airdropped various game assets like land, like ships, like custom skins, emotes, and a number of exclusive badges that were released as well. I think it's worth noting to the community that when we estimated the value of all of the in-game assets that were to be dropped in those tiers, we wanted to be conservative. We did in fact underestimate what the value of those would be. So on the very first poster, which cost $64, this was the Discovery of Iris, we had projected that the in-game assets would be worth $58. Now, as it turns out, they're worth closer to $120. So for anybody who spent $64 on the poster, they actually got $120 worth of game assets. They got the poster for free. They got access to the IDOs across Radium and Apollo, and and they're essentially ready to go. They're ready to start playing the game. So this is the type of value that we try to deliver to our users. We always ensure, or we work our hardest to ensure that we're delivering fair value to everybody. And it was just a really fun campaign. A lot of people loved it. We saw posts all over social media sharing the augmented reality immersion.
Just diving a bit into the future of what you see in terms of the gaming landscape, game streaming, play to earn games are obviously, a big deal right now, blockchain games. What are some dynamics you see playing out, around here?
I think the governance model is one of the kind of greatest innovations to come out of the whole concept of play to earn, right? So not only your ability to earn income off of the game, but your ability to influence the outcome of the product that you're interacting with on a daily basis. It's again, one of the things I'm most excited about. Our DAO structure and internal game political strategy structure, and also just seeing how groups all around the world are utilizing these governance structures to do things like, pool capital with one another and make purchases of in-game assets. Yield Guild is, is quite well known for this, and Gabby and team there were the first, or amongst the first, to create this guild structure where they could essentially finance the purchase of in-game assets and then allow their user base to deploy them, right? We know that not everybody around the world is going to be able to buy all of the assets in any of these games. Star Atlas has assets that start at $15 but are likely to exceed $5 million as well. So we have a very wide spectrum, but $5 million might seem impossible for the individual, but it's not if you have a guild of 50,000 people coming in that all want to purchase that asset, and it provides that value for them and that home base for them. So I think that is also really cool, just seeing how people are able to collaborate in a decentralized fashion and also in a trustless fashion, right? You're not really trusting somebody with your money. You're trusting it to a smart contract and letting the transparent smart contract code do all of the underlying work. So yeah, between the governance and then this kind of concept of pooled capital for game assets, I think it's going to radically transform the way that people interact with games in the future.
Do you see, things like VR getting incorporated? Can we expect VR on Star Atlas?
100%. I think VR still has a lot of room for improvement. I have a VR headset. I enjoy it, but there's, I think the next 5 to 10 years in VR is going to be very exciting. Because we're developing out an Unreal Engine, VR will be possible. We still have to figure out exactly how we want to implement it and on, which game features will VR be available. But certainly I would expect VR in Star Atlas in the future.
In closing, maybe as we wind up, maybe you mind just giving us, a quick breakdown of, for new people who are just getting introduced into Star Atlas, what can they really look forward to? What can they anticipate in the next few weeks, maybe in the next few months?
Maybe let me just put a disclaimer here. Star Atlas is still very, very early in development. So we know everybody is excited to get into the game. We are just as excited to play as everybody else, as well as, very excited and passionate about building it. But it is important for everybody to understand that this is kind of the earliest phase of development, and, any participation right now is kind of subject to a high degree of just risk and uncertainty, business risk and uncertainty, because it's a complex product to build. But with that said, I think one of the best things a new person could do would be to join our Discord. This is where the community is growing the fastest, and they'll also find a lot of help and assistance and answers to questions there from people who have been around the community, as well as from our own team, responding to people. So definitely join Discord. It's discord.gg/staratlas. But beyond that, next week we kick off the mini game enrollment process. So people will be able to connect their Phantom wallet or otherwise any Solana wallet and view their assets, purchase assets, and get prepared for the mini game. So more information will be coming out, of course. We're releasing it as quickly as we can, but it's great timing right now because it's just in advance of the actual launch of the ship mission. So great time to familiarize yourself with the platform. Maybe purchase a ship or two. As I said, we do have ships that started at $15, and some of those are still on the market. So you can purchase the cheapest ship and still enjoy your experience in Star Atlas and still earn off of that. So I think that's kind of the best starting point. play.staratlas.com and get prepared.
Yeah, we're excited. We can see what you guys build as well moving forward. And all the best with Star Atlas.
Thanks so much, David.